ice cream and dream that she could actually watch. So right now it should be like at night in Germany and the rest of Europe, or parts of Europe, I suppose. Why is this not working? Am I uploading something? I am uploading something. Okay, sorry. Actually, that upload is going to be done in about 2 minutes. So we're just going to saying earlier before the sound cut out. Lorenzo Soris, or Sorice, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, or Sorici, could be Italian. He says, a live stream in the middle of the day for those of us who sit in front of a computer coding, daydreaming of adventuring. So I've spent the last like not 2 days, since Friday, I've been editing an Adventure Archives episode. And it's funny that we make an outdoors show and I have to spend so much time indoors working on it. It's like one of those strange ironies that I don't really know how to get around. But I will say, let me make sure everything's still working. Okay, video stops and starts a bit, but hopefully that'll clear out once I finish the upload. Which I don't really know how to get around that whole, how do you spend more time outside when you're working on an outside show? Especially when it's like 30 degrees outside, it'd be kind of hard to edit outside. But where was I going with this? Jeez, sometimes I get ahead of myself. Hold on, I had a point to this. Editing. Outside. Oh, but not working on the vlog while editing an episode has been just like the greatest thing ever. Because they use like the exact same portion of my brain, and it's not like I can just swap to the other one and like feel refreshed. It's just adding more editing and more shooting onto what I was already doing. So it was too much, and I'm glad that I've stopped doing it. Just got done taking a hike. Oh, okay, blah, blah, blah. The video I'm editing is the Hoosier National Forest episode. So we went to Hoosier National Forest again. We went to a different portion of the trail. And Creek and Monongahela, that one's going to be coming after done next week for the Patreon early release. But yes, so we're doing live stream today. I'm taking a break from editing. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. We're doing it in the middle of the day, and I'll do one like maybe in the morning or late at night sometime for people in like Asia who are on like a 12-hour difference. And I think that's it. Okay, so it is Italian. It's Sorice is usually how we said it in America. All right. Okay, and then Adam Jackson said, just got done taking a quick hike with my daughter in her carrier backpack. Not too bad out. So is a carrier backpack like a Tula? That's what I've always heard it's been called, because my brother, his two kids, they always have the Tula, and they'll use them to make the kids fall asleep when they need them to take a nap and whatnot. So Scott Neverdusky says, we're going to Hoosier in August. Any recommendations on the Hemlock Cliffs area? Is that in Hoosier? Because if that's in Hoosier, I don't know anything about it. But I feel like there's some cliff thing in Indiana that people have told me to go to before, and I've seen it before, but I've never actually gone. But I've actually only been to Hoosier National Forest twice, and that was both times for filming the episode. Oh, yeah, it is in Hoosier National Forest. I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, but the whole forest is just going to pretty much look the same as far as I know. Like, the Hemlock Cliffs are probably pretty cool, but, like, the actual character of the forest, I don't think that's going to change so much from one place to another. An Indiana forest or an Ohio forest kind of just looks like an Indiana forest and Ohio forest. Okay, so let's see what people say. Coffee making montages or fermenting sauerkraut. Did I spell that right? You did not spell sauerkraut right, but close enough. You will see more coffee making montages and more sauerkraut. I have only had coffee like twice since the new year, and that was decaf one of those times. Maybe I've had it more than that, but I've been trying to cut back because maybe I mentioned this before, but coffee, it really affects me. So like my highs are super high, but as soon as I stop drinking it, my lows are super low. So I'd rather maintain like a even keel and just try to get my overall energy levels up, which I'll talk about that in a second after I read the rest of these messages. But I've got some new things I've been doing with my diet that have been helping a lot. Oh, okay. So the 2 upcoming episodes, we've got Hoosier National Forest. We've already filmed that. And Seneca Creek and Monongahela National Forest. We've already filmed that as well. Hoosier National Forest should be done for the Patreon early release next week. And Seneca Creek will be sometime after that. Although I'm not sure when exactly for that one, because we might have to delay it until after the road trip, which the road trip is going to be in April. We've confirmed that for sure. Okay. Okay, so yeah, let me get back to the questions in a second. But so as far as what I've been doing with my diet, I heard just recently about something called time-restricted eating. So I've been hearing a lot about intermittent fasting as well. And whenever I hear fasting, I always think of that as like not eating. But time-restricted eating and intermittent fasting can actually just be only eat during the day when you're supposed to be eating and then don't eat any other time. So the time-restricted eating thing that I heard about, it was from Dr. Rhonda Patrick. She's a guest on Joe Rogan's podcast all the time. But Joe Rogan's podcast is always getting recommended to me in the feeds, and I don't even like seek it out. I think it's just like, oh, you're a male like 18 to 35. You'd probably like the Joe Rogan podcast, and you seem to be interested in health and food and stuff. But anyways, that was one of the recommended videos, but they did like studies on lab rats and stuff where they had them eat within just a 9-hour window. So like from the moment you eat the first bite of food in the morning, that's when the 9-hour window starts. So like today I ate at I think 9:30 or maybe 9 o'clock. But anyways, that means that the last meal you can eat, okay, it was 9:30. So I ate at 9:30. The last meal I can eat is at 6:30. There's nothing crazy about that, and I wouldn't even call that fasting, but I guess that technically is fasting, because as soon as you stop eating at 6:30, you don't eat again until 9:30 the next morning. So it gives your body time to like clear out everything, and it also gets you adjusted to a circadian rhythm. Now, I haven't been doing it that long, but the results have been very good as far as like being able to fall asleep right away, being able to get up easily, and then not being hungry. That's been kind of just like a mental thing. I got so many thoughts on this, but we'll use that as a preview. I also got one of the bod pod things done and got to see what like my resting metabolic rate is, although it's only a estimate because their actual resting metabolic rate machine was broken. But I got to see what my body fat percentage was and all that stuff, and it was pretty cool. But okay, anyways, I'll get back to that in a second. Let's go back to the questions real quick. Oh, and then so it looks like we got questions about recommendations. So recommendations and would you ever go to blah, blah, blah. Well, recommendations I might be able to help with, but will I ever go to blank place? Like, it's always, yes, I would go there, but I have no plans. Okay. So wilderness camping around Chicago. I don't think we've really been to any area around Chicago, to be honest. Although I will say maybe it's not that close because you'd have to drive around, but if you can get up to like, yeah, if you can get up to, well, I guess it's not wilderness camping. It's more just like a really cool area. But if you can get up to Sleeping Bear Dunes, like that's still one of my favorite places. That's actually one of the places that like sparked all of our interest in the outdoors in the first place. We did like a family trip there, and just that was when we first started taking pictures and stuff too. Like we would take like these cheesy pictures of ourselves. It's basically just Adventure Archives in picture form. But that place is really cool, but it's not exactly outdoors either. But if you can go to Manitou, I don't think Manitou's open right now because it's too cold, but once it warms up, that's really cool. If I ever got to the UK, where would you explore? I don't know anything about the UK, so I would be down for exploring anything. There's a viewer, his name's James Bolt. He made this video of him like hiking Scotland, I think. I can't remember. And I also really always get mixed up UK, Great Britain, and what's the other one? You know, that's like, depending on what you say, it like constitutes different islands and stuff. But anyways, he hiked some trail with his dad, and it was really cool. Like, I watched one time, I got up randomly at like 5 a.m. and couldn't fall back asleep, so I watched like the whole hour video. It was great. But that would be cool. It was like they went on roads at some point, and then they stayed at like little cabins, and it's kind of cool. But pretty much anywhere. LDA says, did you ever play Wild Arms? I did play Wild Arms a little bit back in the day when it was actually new. My buddy Brendan, who you guys probably know, he had it, or at least he rented it at some point, and I played it with him a couple times. Recently, I bought the PS1 Classics version. I've played like maybe 10 hours into it, and I say recently, I bought it like 3 years ago, and the battle system didn't really hook me. It was kind of simplistic, so I never really got into it, but I love the music. I love the like setting, like that Western, the Japanese take on like a Western. I really like that. Like Trigun's another example of that, but I would like to play that at some point and actually finish it. I was actually just thinking about that recently. I would love to play a tune on the keyboard, but actually getting it hooked up into the stream is a little bit more non-trivial than I'd like it to be. I will try to set that up next time so I could actually play something. I also only know like a couple of songs. Like I memorized a couple of songs years ago, and that's basically all I play now because I don't practice and I rarely even go into it. Okay, so yeah, a nerdy crafter asks, have we ever considered hiking back to the Smokies and looking into the Mount LeConte Lodge? So like I said earlier, we haven't considered anything. We'd like to go everywhere, but we never plan. Never really plan. Let me make sure everything's still working. Okay, yeah, everything's still working. Oh, so yeah, Scott Neverdusky says, do you have a roadmap for your cross-country trip? We do have one, but we don't have it finalized yet. As soon as everything's finalized, which should be pretty soon because we're going to be doing it in April, that's for sure. It's going to be the first 2 or 3 weeks of April. We will have the map, maybe not publicly available. Well, maybe not the exact map publicly available, but we will have like the places where we'll be doing meetups posted and at what time so that everybody can come out and we can do meetups and fun stuff like that. Thoughts and hopes for the Nintendo Direct tomorrow. You know, my hopes are not that high because they mentioned the 3DS first. Don't get me wrong, I love 3DS, but if there was going to be big Switch news, they would have put the Switch first and then said, check out our Switch titles and some 3DS titles. But when they said, check out our 3DS titles and some Switch titles, I don't think it's going to be anything major. But if I wanted to just let my hopes go off into Never Never Land, then a new Smash Brothers would be fantastic. Okay, so UK is Britain, Scotland, Northern Ireland, mostly, plus some islands. Yeah, is that right? I'm going to take your word for it. I assume that's right. Santi A says, are any of the new Star Wars movies, in your opinion, better than Empire Strikes Back? I mean, I enjoy Force Awakens and Last Jedi way more than I enjoy Empire Strikes Back, which that I know that sounds like sacrilege. Empire Strikes Back is an amazing movie, but it's just the more I've seen, I have to be in different moods because Empire Strikes Back is a very slower paced movie, and it's all about like the characters and the interactions between them and then the development and like the tragedy and like the hilarity of Yoda as well. But that's actually not what it's about. I do like that scene a lot, but just like the Luke learning to like believe in Yoda and all of that stuff. But Force Awakens and Last Jedi, they're much more like bombastic and in your face and high energy. So kind of just depends on what mood I'm in, but I see saying one's better than the other. I guess I don't, it depends on my mood during the day, Let me make sure everything's still working. Okay, everything's still working. Okay, well, first real quick, Jan D, no, I'm not going to Europe. This is just the Europe live stream for people who are in Europe and can't watch in the middle of the night. Because I've been streaming at like 8 p.m. Eastern time, which is like 4 a.m. lots of Europe time. Well, at least Germany. I'm assuming that most of Europe is on a similar time zone, if not the same time zone. But I'm an American and we're really bad with that stuff. I'm better than most, but I'm still bad at it, and I apologize. We should be more worldly and active in knowing the rest of the world. Okay. So Chris Brass says she only eats between the hours of 2 to 10 p.m. and stacks a HIIT workout at the end of the fast every other day, which really boosts the effects of the workout. I don't know what a HIIT workout is, but I'm assuming that's some sort of workout that obviously it's some sort of workout. You put an adjective in front of workout, it's going to be something. But yeah, feel free to let me know what that is. But man, just not eating, giving your body time to like clear out and not constantly be processing food. For one thing, that's been super helpful. But for another thing, it's just like breaking the addiction of like incredibly delicious foods. All of the foods that we have nowadays, like they taste so good. How are you supposed to resist? Like the only resistance you have is complete abstinence, and it can't even be in your house. Like I can't moderate. There's a chocolate bar in my house. That chocolate bar is gone. Okay. It's not like I can be like, oh, here's a piece, I'll eat a little bit. Oh, here's a piece, I'll eat a little bit. One of the last times I ate cereal, I was eating Honey Bunches of Oats, and I had a whole box of it. It was brand new. And then I had a gallon of like, what is it? Grass-fed milk, unpasteurized from the farmer's market. It's like the most delicious milk you've ever had in your life. And I just was eating it. I was like, man, this is so good. I literally said the words, I don't think I can live without cereal, which are the words of a drug addict or a crazy person. And I ended up eating that entire box of Honey Bunches of Oats in one day. And after the end of that, I think that might have been the last time I really ate cereal, like with a bowl of milk. Like I haven't had, maybe I have, but just so rarely since then. I felt terrible, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? I got to stop this. But man, I do love some cereal, especially Honey Bunches of Oats. Oh, Lorenzo Soris. I forgot it already. What did he say? Soris? I'm sorry, man. But Lorenzo says, did you play Final Fantasy 15? Yes, I did. Obviously, you weren't watching the vlogs in it because the vlogs suffered that week that it came out. I played like 100 hours in a week. Barely vlogged it. Although in my defense, I was also sick at that time. But yeah, Final Fantasy 15 is awesome. And they're still making content for it. Like they're doing DLC and stuff all the time. All right. How long does it take you guys to record the songs for AA? Well, let me make sure I'm okay. Good. The thing with it's not necessarily recording; it's more composing it because we do it all in software. So we very rarely actually record real instruments. If it's guitar and it's done by Brian, it's usually him actually recording the instrument. I used to do, like when we first started, it was all live instruments because we didn't even have the program to do it. So we just used the piano, drums, marimba, flute, just whatever we had available. Oh no, we actually used my keyboard as well. We used the MIDI sounds from that and we recorded it. So it was all recording technically. But now it's all done in software, so you just have to compose the music. So it's not so much recording, it's more composing. Maybe you weren't making that distinction and I'm just getting way into the weeds, but the point is that it takes a long time. The composing music is, at least for me, it takes the longest. Like maybe I spend way more time on the songs than Andrew does, but whenever I'm recording a song, recording, composing doesn't really matter, I suppose. But whenever I'm composing a song, it takes me a long time. And the main problem is I have no music theory knowledge, so it's all just like stabbing in the dark until I find something that I actually think sounds good. I have basic like chord knowledge and stuff just from playing for many years. And I mean, I took drum lessons for many years too. And by drum lessons, I mean percussion. So there was marimba stuff. But I really wish I just had like, I want to make a song sound like this. So I'm going to use my music theory knowledge to make it sound like this rather than I need it to sound like this. Let me try this. That's not right. Let me try this. That's not right. It makes it take so much longer than I would like it to. And plus, if you're trying to fit like a certain mood, So say we have a song that we need it to be like mysterious. To make a mysterious song specifically, that's much more difficult than just writing what comes out naturally, which for me, we've talked about this with people before, but if you listen, you can figure out who wrote that song in like 2 seconds because we each have a very distinct style. For me, it's like that upbeat, you know, like frantic, just it's me basically. But that type of music, if you ask me to write a song, that'll just come out naturally. Like I don't have to think about that. But if you ask me to write like a contemplative soft song, I have to think about that. Or if you ask me to write like a goofy songs aren't as hard. But the point is that writing to the video is more difficult than just writing a song just out of the blue, which we do both of those, but it's hard to do. Trail Aesthetics, Tim, I'm going to have to keep calling you Tim V. I'm not digging, Trail Aesthetics is a good name. I'm not digging calling you Trail Aesthetics, so I'm going to call you Tim V. Tim V says, have you seen the short film called The Gunfighter on YouTube? I have not, but I will try to remember to check that out, and I will do that. How did you guys meet Thomas? Mr. Greeley says, Thomas is Brian and Andrew's next door neighbor when they were growing up. So they have been friends for a long time. And I've known Brian and Andrew since I was born, basically. Well, I've known Andrew since he was born for sure, because he's younger than us. But they're my cousins, if you didn't know that. Oh, so yes, I am going to do more on my Twitch channel. Actually, what's been stopping me is that I don't want to... most people stream, I feel like, on Twitch. They don't have anything in particular in mind that they want to say. But I kind of feel like when I stream on Twitch, I actually want to have something to say. So I'm trying to decide what game I want to talk about. I think I'm going to start with like maybe Final Fantasy VII, but maybe I shouldn't start with a 30-hour RPG from the start. Maybe I'll start with F-Zero because that doesn't really have an end and I can stream for however long. So anyway, yeah, what was I talking about? Oh, Twitch. Yeah, I said Twitch. So Chris Tang says, which city/prefecture was your exchange in Japan? Oh, he's doing an exchange in Tokyo. Did you have any recommendations? So my exchange in high school, we did one that was 2 weeks long, where we went there for 2 weeks and then they came over for 2 weeks. And that was in Morioka, which is in Iwate Prefecture, which is like more towards the north. And I think actually part of that area is what got hit by the tsunami, but not Morioka. Morioka was fine. But then when I in college, when I did a full 2 semesters, that was in Nagoya, which is in Aichi Prefecture. That's like southwest of Tokyo. So that's actually, it's kind of funny because that city, like I would compare that to, like that's the Japanese Indianapolis. It's just like a medium-sized city. I mean, it's a bigger city, but it's not like a city that anybody goes to as a travel destination. It's just a place where people live and work. Did I have any recommendations? My recommendation, not as far as like the place, especially Tokyo. It's only been in recent years when I went to visit Michael that I had any sense of what Tokyo was like, because I spent very little time there when I was doing my exchange program. Just like once me and my brother went there for when he came to see me, we went traveling and stuff. But just do as much as you can, man. Don't be afraid to get out there and like actually experience everything. I spent way too much time just like not exploring when I was there, which there's probably all sorts of reasons for that. But if I did it again now, that's what I would do, is I'd do a lot more exploring, trying new things. Doesn't mean you have to like spend money. Like don't feel like you got to like try out new restaurants that are all expensive and stuff and like go on tours and stuff that are expensive. Just be I was going to say random, but just go find things that you think would look cool. Like go explore the city. I don't know. Or window shop at Akihabara and then check out all the video games. That's what I would do. Okay, is everything still good? Okay, yes. I'm like paranoid with this live stuff. Editing, it's like you just release this package and you know exactly what's in the package. There's no problems. Now it's like sometimes I'm talking for like 10 minutes and there's no audio and I feel stupid. Okay, Lucas Leitner says, do you still hate After Effects? I surely do. That's not going to change until I actually put some effort into it, but yeah, I don't like it. So no, you do not have to be from Europe to be watching right now. But it probably helps. I mean, because a lot of people in the US are probably working right now. Or you're working and you're watching this anyways. I mean, that's perfectly valid too. So Jeremy says, what other types of video work do you do / like to do aside from vlogs and adventure archives? So my favorite type of thing to do is to do like interviews and like, I don't know what you would call them. Like one of the funnest projects I did is we did like this documentary it's not a documentary, like it's like a 10-minute video where we went to like this focus testing group. They were like getting responses from people, but it was like at this like store. So while they were giving the interviews, we filmed them doing their thing. And then afterwards they were like trying stuff out, trying products out or whatever. And we would pull one person aside and do an interview with them. And then we would film around the store and all this stuff. And it was just really cool to make like this little 10-minute piece about something. Kind of like that coffee shop video, only good. Like that coffee shop video just pulled out of my butt and then just edited together real quick. But this was like, had music and it was like, they had the testimonials and stuff in there. And it was just, I like getting a story out of kind of a live situation. That's my favorite thing. So any type of, I haven't done that many. Let me preface that. The majority of this type of work where you do live documentary style, that's mostly just been vlogs and adventure archives. But that's the type that I like to film. I do like narrative stuff where you have something filmed and have a goal ahead of time. And then you're like, okay, let's film this, let's film this, let's film that. But that, I've probably talked about this before, but it's so much more reliant on execution from like actors and your writing and all of this stuff. But a live thing, it's just like, it's like magic when you go film something and it's just like all these disparate parts, but you know in your head of kind of what you want to do. So like in that sense, a wedding should be a really good, like I should enjoy filming weddings a lot more than I do. But filming weddings, it's just like, it's so high pressure. I mean, it's not even actually high pressure. Like the people I've worked with, the brides and stuff, they never really care. They're like, just whatever you do is fine. But in my head, it feels like more high pressure than it is. And it's not, it's so, there's nothing surprising about it. I guess that's the other thing. It's ceremony, it's opening, cheesy music, ceremony, cheesy music, people eating and mingling, cheesy music, then the what's it called, reception stuff. And there's nothing surprises me about it. You know what I mean? Like when I'm doing adventure archives and like suddenly a hawk comes flying out of nowhere and then we write a piece of music that's perfect for that, and then it lines up in the editing. It's just, when things start to line up in the editing, that is the feeling that I literally live for. Like that is what drew me to it in the first place. It was like, whoa, when you put music to this, look how this turns into just this amazing thing. And that's just what I think is really fun about it. Okay, so favorite terrain for hiking, says James Blackburn. So my favorite terrain is that open meadow type area. So that's why Dolly Sods is my favorite places, because you have all these open areas, just naturally open with no trees and stuff. I'm not a biologist by any means, but I'm very curious how those get formed. Like, how come forests don't just crop up and it looks just like a big expansive lawn, basically? I find that really interesting. Nicolo says, is there a remote possibility to see you use the hammock in some A episode? It's pretty unlikely because Brian would be using it and I wouldn't steal it from him. And I probably will never get a hammock. That's probably very possible too. Inspect My Gadget 69 says, any plans for Alaska in the future? Well, I feel like it's something in my teeth. It's like ASMR now. Which, by the way, ASMR does not affect me at all. Like when I listen to an ASMR video, I'm just like, what? I don't get the feeling, like whatever the nervous system response is, I don't get it. So it's not appealing to me at all. But anyways, any plans for Alaska in the future? So yeah, just remember the plans questions. I never have any plans, but this one in particular, I would like to go to Alaska because one of my old Zumba teachers, she told me that she went to Denali National Park with her dad. Like once her and her sisters turned a certain age, they went there for like 6 weeks or something each. And they said it was super fun, and I just think it'd be great. Okay, so yes to FF for the Twitch stream. Okay, cool. Do you want to live in Indianapolis for the Sanwar1 says, do you want to live in Indianapolis for the rest of life? Geez, I can't talk, but you know what I'm trying to say. If you could live anywhere else, where would you choose? I don't necessarily want to live in Indianapolis for the rest of my life, but right now I have no plans. Well, I could move to Columbus. So that would be very helpful for Adventure Archives, and that could be, at the very least, I'll probably be spending more time there. I don't know about moving there just yet, but my location, like especially for my current point in life where I spend so much of my time on my computer editing and working, and I spend so much time traveling, Indianapolis is actually kind of a nice location because for one thing, I'm on a dead-end street, so there's never any traffic and stuff, and it's very quiet, easy to work, and I won't be bothered by all sorts of construction noise and all this stuff. But also, it's got a good international airport where I can get to anywhere I want to go. It's centrally located in the U.S., so I can drive to a lot of places too. So as far as livability, it's like super perfect right now. So there's nothing in particular, but in college, so Rick Miner says, in college, my roommate and I would get up in the middle of the night and polish off a box of cereal in that one sitting. To this day, I am a cereal freak. I'm with you, man. Like I've never done that where I polished off a whole box, but I could definitely do that. Like I could eat a box of cereal a day if I could survive, because I would feel really terrible really quickly, but God, I love cereal so much. So Carol says, do you like Pokemon Go? And did you collect Pokemon cards ever in your life? So Pokemon Go was reasonably entertaining for like a couple of days when it first came out. The thing is, as much of a Nintendo fan as I am, I've never played a Pokemon game. I have played them, like actually just sat down for 5 minutes and played it, but never like actually learned how to play it to the point, like never for more than an hour where I actually could get into Pokemon. When I was a kid, when Pokemon first started getting big, I was just like past that age. So I was like late middle school, high school. So I was like trying to be cool, and I was like, oh, Pokemon, I don't know, that's for kids, right? Even though I was a huge Nintendo fan, it's weird. But I still have not gotten into Pokemon at any point. Pokemon Go was a cool concept, but not being a huge Pokemon fan, it just didn't really appeal to me that much. Brian and Andrew played that for a good amount of time, though. Luke says, do you still play any basketball? No, I want to, but I just don't really. Especially as cold as it's been, as cold as it has been, I haven't been playing outside, just like shooting around. And I had a gym membership for like 2 or 3 months, and I wasted that membership not actually playing. Scott says, how would you film a city different from a hike? I'm not sure how I'd film it differently, but the big thing about filming in a city that makes it harder is that there's a lot more people around. So you don't want to get in the way, and then like talking to the camera becomes more difficult because you're worried about what people are around you, if they're going to like be looking at you weird, which the truth is that they will, but it's once you get over that, it's a lot easier. But filming a city, it'd probably be just about the same. Like, let's get cool shots of this. Let's get cool shots of that. What I would like to do is if I filmed a city, like for an urban archives or something, I'd like to actually talk to the shop owners and be able to film inside and like, just kind of like what we did with that coffee video too, actually, but interview them and see what they think of the city and like what it's like and all this stuff. But yeah, I haven't really looked too much into doing that recently, but that is something we'd like to do down the line. Wilson, hello from Finland. Thank you for watching. Christopher Williams, what is your favorite blooper from your recent adventures? Well, there's one that I sent to the chat the other day, yesterday actually, while I was editing. So what we try to do now is as we're editing, if we see a blooper, we put it in a separate timeline so they're all ready to go once we actually make the blooper videos. But there was one where we're sitting down in the trail and Andrew goes, Brian, can you hand me that camera? I want to get a close-up of this. And then Brian says, what? He repeats himself. And then you can see this is like Brian's not moving. And I heard the question the first time, so I just get up and I said, I'll get the camera, you lazy. And then I said a word that we'll bleep out. But it's really funny. In Bike's rule is I thought you liked mountains for the view. Oh, well, Denali National Park, I don't think that necessarily is the mountain. I think it's just like the whole area. So I wasn't even thinking about climbing the mountain. I'm not sure I would ever climb Mount Denali. Although, how tall is it? Let's see. Because now that I've climbed Mount Whitney, I mean, if I could do that, I could probably do other ones. Oh, it's the tallest land-based mountain on Earth. Okay, maybe not. Vertical rise of about 18,000 feet with the summit at 20,000 feet. Yeah, that's, I don't know. Considering Whitney, what was Mount Whitney? 15,000? Oh, 14,000. Prominence, 10,000 feet. What does prominence mean? Okay, yeah, but climbing Denali, maybe that's not in the cards. Jack says, what did Brian and Andrew do? Brian has some sort of office phone job thing. I don't know what he does. And then Andrew, his knowledge of plants is just from like home study. That's not from anything in particular. I think maybe the last year of school, he went to like some mushroom class or something. But right now, Andrew, his full-time job is Adventure Archives and then side video productions on occasion. James says, pizza's my favorite, and for that reason, I cannot eat it very often. Yeah, I can't, what's the word? I can't moderate. I cannot moderate foods that are so delicious. Like, I understand that some people can do it, and more power to you, and I'm envious of those people. Like, I don't understand how you control yourself, but for me, man. Aliz in Wandering Lands. Oh, okay. It says, I'm a fan, learning to improve my works from watching yours. Love all your vids from Thailand. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Nostophical says, climbing. Nostophical, that's such a great name. I don't know if I've talked about that before, but it's like, I assume this is what it is. It's a combination between nostalgia and philosophical, which nostophical is like, that if that were a word, that would be the word, like my favorite word, because that's like my favorite thing to do. I like to philosophize and I like to be nostalgic about things. Okay, so climbing Everest as the 100th AA episode hype. It will never, ever happen. The closest that it'll ever get to is we will go to Mount Everest. Like, we will not climb it. We'll go there. We'll take pictures of it in video, and we'll interview people who are going up. And then we'll go down to some hut and then have hot chocolate with the Sherpas. We'll never actually try to climb it. That is funny, Nostophical, that I'm the only one that has ever guessed what your name is, because I feel like that's so obvious. Like, nostalgia, philosophical. Maybe it's because I use those two words way more than most people do. Especially nostalgia. Like, nostalgia is like my thing. Luke says, least favorite food, oysters. I hate oysters, and it's like the only food that I like literally, when I eat it, I am disgusted by it. It's just gross to me. I don't like oysters. Pretty much every other food I will eat. Is that true? Yeah, I think nothing's coming to my head. I don't like cucumbers, but I'll eat those. I mean, they're just not my favorite. Oh, Ruth Tuesday. I'm good. How are you? Glad you could catch the live stream. Prominence is the elevation difference between the summit of a peak and the lowest contour that contains the given peak and no high peaks. So it's kind of like sort of like a plateau, basically. I don't know. You remind me so much of Matt Heafy from Trivium Band. We're going to look this up. Which is funny. Somebody... Oh, I could see the resemblance, yeah. Yeah, definitely some resemblance there. There's, who was I talking to? Oh, yeah. So I, on Facebook sometimes, I would post these pictures of like... So I posted this great one that showed the exact lookalike of Thomas, Brian, and Andrew. And Andrew has multiple ones. He sometimes looks like Hideo Kojima. Sometimes looks like... I can't remember who the other one was. And then Brian looks like the speed skater Apollo Ono. And then Thomas looks like Ian Griffith, who is the Fantastic Four guy. He's also Horatio Hornblower. But they were all like, oh, I don't look like that. I'm like, guys, can you not see what you look like? Like, when people tell me I look like somebody, I always see it. Like Keanu Reeves, like I get that all the time. I'm like, yes, I can absolutely see that. I look like Keanu Reeves. But when people can't see what they look like, I'm like, guys, you got to like open your eyeballs here. You look like that person. Okay, so let's go back to this real quick. So I got the bod pod thing done. So these are really interesting results. I'm not sure how accurate the bod pod actually is. I was looking that up last night because the one thing is it still has to use a like prediction model. So it gets your weight and then it uses air displacement to see how much air you displace. So it's supposed to be accurate, but like as far as like calculating your body percent fat and then fat-free mass, it still has to use a formula. So it's not going to be like, I was looking it up. Apparently there's something called like a DXA test you can do, and it'll like give you like a heat map of your body and show you where the fat is, where the bone is, all that stuff. But anyways, I'm 72 inches, which is 6 feet, 183 centimeters. And then my weight, and this was after like over 12 hours of fasting and no water either. So it's like there's nothing in my body. Presumably. I pooped too, so hopefully it was all out. But my body mass is 151.81 pounds, which since we're doing the live stream for the Europeans, we're going to put that into kilograms. And that's 68.86 kilograms. And then my percent fat was 10.1% fat and then 89.9% fat-free mass. So that includes everything that's not fat. So muscle, bone, etc. But the main thing that I was wanting to get out of this, which actually the test that they could do to do this was the other test was the resting metabolic rate test, where you have to like breathe into a tube for like an hour or something, and they can actually see how many calories your body burns just at rest. According to this, which is just an estimate, it says 1,625 calories a day if I were just like in a coma, not moving. So for this, it gives like, if you were a sedentary activity level, then your daily expenditure would be like 2,080. If you were low active, it'd be 2,454. And then if I was very active, it'd be 2,827. So part of the reason why I did it is because I was curious about how much food do you actually need every day? Because I could put away 4,500 calories, 4 or 5,000 calories every single day easily. Like, man, like a single, like those times when I eat half a pizza. Let's see how much that is. Home run in pizza nutrition facts. Let's see how much half a pizza is in calories. Just calories, because we're not talking about nutrients for a second. Let's just talk about energy needs, right? How much energy do you actually need? So 3 times 340, that's 1,020. Is that right? Yeah, 1,020. Half a pizza, well, those frozen pizzas, you guys remember on the vlog. Well, some of you do. I used to eat like half a frozen pizza a night. That's 1,020 calories. So that's half of my energy requirement every day. And lots of, well, actually, I guess sometimes I would only eat just like breakfast and that. But just the point is like, there's so many calories available just like as far as energy. Like, we have enough food. The problem nowadays is not scarcity, it's abundance. It's that we have so much available to us, and so much of it tastes so incredibly good that it overrides your body's natural satiety like ability to be like, oh, yo, I've eaten enough, I'm good now. Instead, it's just like, yo, this tastes amazing. We don't know if we're going to have food again tomorrow because that's the way we've evolved. So go ahead and eat 5 hamburgers for me and then go get some chips. And then if you have any candy in the house, go ahead and eat that too. But now that I have this, so this just shows me like, look, if you're not even moving, you only need 1,600 calories. That's not that much food. That gives my rational brain enough convincing that I can give that a little bit more power to overpower the reptile brain that's like, yo, just eat everything because you can. Because I don't feel good when I eat everything, man. Like it has nothing to do with like weight gain or anything like that. Because obviously I don't gain any weight. As you guys have seen, I've been the same weight my whole life. Well, I started out when I was a kid, I was 50 pounds for like 10 years. And then I was 130 pounds for like 5 years. And then ever since then, it's been 150 to 160. So I'm probably more like 150. I don't think I really get up to 160 that often. But anyways, the point of that is that eating more in line with your actual energy requirements has been so good. Like it makes my skin clearer. It makes me feel better. I have more energy. It's like, it's all about efficiency. It's not just keep piling stuff on, because then you overburden your body with just extra food. So it's been helpful. Okay, so Luke says, is it ever really hard to get shots because other people are walking around? Yosemite was so crowded looking later, I thought that it looked like super frustrating. Yes, so in that opening, when we were with all those other people, that was like the most touristy area and in like the most busy part of the season on probably like the busiest day. It was probably like a Saturday or something. It was like, before we started filming, we said, okay, look, if we're going to be filming, we got to be really focused on get the shot regardless. So get it out of the way of people so that you're not in anybody's way. And then if people are looking at you, just let them look at you. Okay. We got to get that out of the way and get over that mindset from the start. But after that, we were like, we're never going to a place that crowded to film again. Which is funny because when me and Andrew tried to film the first like pilot test episode of Adventure Archives in Hocking Hills, it was crowded and we had the exact same problem, but that was the first time we'd ever filmed. So we didn't really know what to do about it. But since we had filmed so many episodes by that point, we knew that could be a problem. But we also just really don't like filming in that type of situation. So we decided. Oh, did I unplug that? No. Okay, good. Is that still? Am I still in there? Okay. That chair was making a lot of noise, but we decided we're never going to go to a place like that again, or try not to anyway, because it was really. Okay. Oh, that's a great question. So Chris says, if you could film AA. Oh, by the way. We're going to be ending in 10 minutes. I'm trying to make this like an hour so I don't spend too much time streaming. So get any last minute questions you have. We will continue to do this every week. Next week, it'll probably be like on a Tuesday or Wednesday again. And we can do it at a different time. So if you have a time that you prefer, if you're watching this after the fact, let me know and we can do it. But if you could film AA with only one lens, which would it be? It would be the Panasonic 12 to 35, which I'm filming with right now. So you know this, Chris, but for those of you who don't know, 12 to 35 on that particular camera is the same as a 24 to 70 on like a full frame camera, which is, I'm getting too into the weeds. The point is that the 12 to 35 is a super versatile lens because it's zoomed out like this. Like it's zoomed out all the way, but you can also zoom way in like that. And am I on frame? Yeah. Okay. But that's like, this lens also looks really good. Just nice and sharp, and it always has good results. So, in fact, I think we've filmed episodes with just this lens before. We've definitely filmed an episode with one camera before, but we might have had a wide angle lens too. So like a wide angle lens where you can get like super, super wide and see a whole bunch from really close to the camera. Those are super helpful and they give really cool shots, but it's not entirely necessary. You can usually work around it. And then like my other lens, like the Sony 55 I have, it's my favorite looking lens. It looks really cool, but it's at the end of the day, the point is that you need to be able to see what you're shooting. And if you can see what you're shooting, if the viewer can see what you're shooting, then you're good to go. And the 24 to 70 gives you so much latitude. And I just think that's what I would use. Oh man, I'm actually caught up on questions. Okay, so what else is going on? So we've got the episode that I'm working on right now. We're really trying to shoot for being done on Monday. That's a secret. But the point is next week is not a secret. But in my head, I want to be done by Monday. But if we don't get done by Monday, then that's fine. And we're going to be doing for our Patreon page, for those of you who are patrons, we're going to start making it much more of like a regular thing that actually, we're going to make it more of a reason for you to be a patron than just wanting to support us. We want to give you guys like something that can actually be like, I'm part of this community and I get to see all this exclusive stuff. So one of the things we're going to be doing is live streams every Monday. Andrew did the first one on Monday. Brian's going to be doing the one next week. And then every Wednesday, we're going to be doing updates, informing you about like what we're working on right now, where we might be going next. And then we might do like behind the scenes stuff. So like I actually just made the video for this Wednesday's update. And then also I'm going to try to get Brian, Andrew, and Thomas to do vlogs. In fact, I'm not going to try to get them to do that. They've already said they can do it. But hopefully next week we'll have one of those. But we're going to, on Wednesdays, we'll update you with whatever and then show you sneak peeks. So today's post, which should be going up later, will be update on where we're going, all that stuff, and then also a sneak peek from this episode that I've attached at the end of the video. And if I had it set up right, I would show you a sneak peek right now, but I don't have it set up right. So, where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. Okay. So we're going to get that episode done, and then we probably won't have time to get the next episode done before we go on a road trip in April, which I already talked about. But yeah, so Patreon page will definitely be a place that it's just going to be updated more regularly. And we're going to try to stay on top of like bloopers and commentaries, and then any Patreon rewards like postcards, and if we ever do like patches and stuff again. And then like if you're on the tier where you get the soundtracks and stuff, we'll make sure you actually get those. Get on top of that stuff instead of just being lazy about it. Although I say being lazy, but the truth is that usually we're just working on the episode and we're not thinking about all that other stuff we got to do as well, but we're going to do a better job of that. Okay. Planet Fun TV says, hey, Rob, remember when you hid the foreign exchange student and never told us any more secrets? Okay, so in my defense, I wasn't purposely hiding the exchange student. She just was always in this room. Like, she closed the door and then just was doing whatever she was doing in the room. So when she was at home, she was in this room, which is crazy, isn't that? Like, she was here up until last July. I've been doing this vlog since like October of 2015. That's like 2 years, man. And she just like somehow never made it on the vlog, man. Mr. Greeley says, how come your brother never joins you on AA? It's because he has his family. Like, if he didn't have a family, he definitely would have been on the vlog. Not the vlog, the Adventure Archives. Just he doesn't have time. As soon as he can have time, he'll definitely become. In fact, we want to do like a family episode where we bring like his family and then show how you can hike with kids and stuff. Because I know there's a lot of families who actually watch the episode with their kids, which, man, like I think I've talked about it before, but I'm so glad that we didn't put like any cursing or just like our crude jokes and stuff. Because I mean, look, you know that if you're hanging out with me in person, like, I mean, maybe you don't know this, but you might be able to imagine this. If you're hanging out with me in person, I'm not going to be saying the exact same things I'm going to be saying in Adventure Archives. And I mean, maybe it'll surprise you, maybe it won't, I don't know. But I use plenty of lewd, crude jokes and words. So I'm so glad we didn't put that in, though, because when people told us that they watch it with their kids, that's like so awesome. That kids watch it as well, and that they watch it together as a family. Never, ever would have expected that from our videos. Like, there was just something to entertain ourselves, really, but I'm really glad that worked out. Okay, so we got 4 minutes. I'm going to get through these questions, though. If you end up collaborating with another YouTuber, who would it most likely be? So number one on the list has got to be Scrambled O, because I told him we should collaborate and we never did. But definitely do that at some point. And then off the top of my head, like Tim Watson, he'd be great. We already did Up Trail 71. The Normies would be good because it'd be fun to take them out hiking, because they're like, the whole conceit of their channel is that it's a bunch of nerds watching TV, right? But taking them out in the wilderness, they could make really funny videos about how they're like out of their element, which is funny though, but that would be really cool. Do the other fellas have their own YouTube channels? No, they don't. But like I said, we're going to try to get them to do vlogs for the Patreon page, and those will just be on the Adventure Archive channel. Although they'll be unlisted, so if you're not a patron, you won't be able to see it. But I'm sure we can eventually get them to start their own YouTube channels at some point. Would I skydive? Absolutely. I just have never really gone about doing it. The episode I'm talking about is the Hoosier National Forest. So if you missed the first part of the stream, I'm working on the Hoosier National Forest. We went there again. We went to a different place, though, like a different trail. It was a really cool episode. And then the other one is the Seneca Creek in Monongahela Forest. We've already filmed that one. That was the one with all the snow. That one's going to be coming out at some point. But the Hoosier one is next week. Jen A says, do you prefer steamed clams or steamed hams? So I'm a huge Simpsons fan. I love The Simpsons. Seasons 3 through like 9 are the golden years of The Simpsons that I basically have all the episodes memorized, and me and Brian quote them all the time. But steamed hams has never been a particularly funny joke to me, so I'm kind of curious how that came back as like a meme, and I don't even think I understand the meme, like what is funny about it. So yeah. Oh yeah, my first name is a secret. That's true. My legal first name. Are you guys in touch with Joe Robinette at all? We've talked to him, like just as far as like internet comments and stuff, but never actually like message and see if he wants to do like a collaboration. But that seems like a good collaboration as well, because we have similar style of videos where we both go out camping and stuff. So that's definitely a possibility as well. He lives in Canada, if I'm not mistaken, so that could be a good Canadian trip. But the main reason we haven't even done a collaboration yet is because we have a hard enough time getting ourselves to actually get organized and everybody ready to go at the same time. To add another person into the mix, we'd have to really get our stuff together, if you know what I mean. Oh no, my first name is great. It's just like at this point I might as well keep it a secret, because then that I have some degree of privacy, I guess, still left. It's nothing earth-shattering though. And it's not even really my first name. Everybody calls me Robbie. It's just technically my first name. Okay, we actually only got 30 seconds left. Okay, so we'll go real quick. Are you a PC Engine fan? Don asks. I missed out on the PC Engine because when I was a kid, I was a super hardcore. Well, also it's kind of like when you were a kid back in the 90s, you never had more than one system unless you were like a super rich kid. So we had to put all of our efforts into just getting our parents to get us new games for the Super Nintendo rather than trying to like get another system as well. So I didn't even know really that the Turbo, in fact, now that I think about it, I don't remember ever seeing a Turbo Graphics in the store, like for sale. And the PC Engine is the same as the Turbo Graphics, right? But if I had one, I probably would have been a fan. Like 16-bit era games are like some of my favorites. So, and the Ease series has always been really interesting to me. So my buddy AJ, though, he has like every PC Engine game. He bought like this brand new one. You guys saw it on the vlog. We unboxed it one time. I brought it back from him from Japan. Like he ordered it on Yahoo Auctions and sent it to Michael, etc. But it seems like a cool system. And I love the little hue cards or whatever. That's such a cool format for a game. Hales 41414 says Aurora Borealis ? Located entirely within your kitchen. I was like, well, can I see it? No. Do you have any? Okay, last question. Do you have any desire to hike longer miles? That's what Knights of the Trail says. Yes, but the thing about hiking longer miles when you're filming is just like it would make for a worse video. Like maybe not if we really focused and we knew what we were going to be getting into ahead of time, but to make it feel like, at least this is my estimation, to make it feel like you're actually on that journey, you kind of need a lot of shots of just like the actual process of walking. Not so much just like walking shots, but like you need to get a sense of the land, and to make it visually interesting, you can't just show the same shot over and over again. So where's it going with this? Longer miles. Okay, so longer miles would be fun just from a like really, walking, getting some movement type of feeling. But filming an episode, I don't even want to be thinking about how many miles we're hiking. Like, I just want to be focused on making the episode good and entertaining, not to try and get lots of miles in. That being said, if we can do like an actual trip with, which I was saying that we're probably going to make the next trip. Well, I want to. I don't know if we're probably going to. I want to make the next trip just a regular hiking trip. No cameras. Well, I'll probably still vlog it, but just like vlogging like super loosely, not like doing tripod shots and going back for the tripod and all that stuff. But if we do that, I would like to do more miles than like 2 miles in a day. Because 2 miles in a day when you're filming is like a lot of miles. But, well, it's not a lot, but it's enough. But like when you're just walking, like we could do 5 miles in a day easily. Maybe 5 to 10. When we first backpacked in the Smokies, Andrew's initial plan was to have us hike 10 miles in a day. We didn't really know if we could do that or not. And we were like, I don't think we can do this. Ended up that the trail was blocked off, so we weren't able to do that regardless. But we quickly learned that 10 miles in a day is quite ambitious, especially for us. Okay. So yeah, Scott says, I'd recommend hiking a longer trail first, then going back and filming what you noted the first time. That would be definitely be something we could do. Okay, but that's going to do it for today's stream. Thank you very much for watching. So the vlogs will probably fire back up in the next couple of days. The rough cut is done for Hoosier. Now we just need to get music, keep fine-tuning, narration. As far as music and narration, music and fine-tuning, I think we should be done by Friday. Like Friday would be like today, tomorrow, and Friday. As work days, we'd be good. So on Saturday, I'll probably be free to actually start vlogging again, which would mean that you'd probably get a vlog Sunday or Monday. But maybe I'll do a stream in between then. But anyways, thank you very much. Thank you for joining me in the middle of the day or the evening, as the case may be, and maybe the middle of the night if you are in Asia. Is that right? Yeah, it's tomorrow in the middle of the night in Asia right now. But okay, thank you guys. Have a good day. I'm going to go get some lunch and then work on the episode, etc. Hope you enjoyed. All right, thanks guys.